Hello, happy day after Friday the 13th. It is Saturday, May 14th at 11:40 a.m. Eastern Time, USA. Year is 2022. This is my video journal, and today's segment is brought to you by the Satanic Temple. Drinking my coffee out of my Satanic Temple mug. Thanks for all you do for the fight for women's choice and abortion and other women's rights. So today I'm just going to do a run through of the podcast I'm going to record tomorrow morning at some point or afternoon and publish. It'll be the last, so let me just go at it, I guess. Hey all you space cats, welcome to the Black Hole Podcast, Season 4, I'm a Voter, Episode 8. I'm your host, Mitch Miller, the most underground artist in the world. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the I'm a Voter platform, but for all of you out there that did your homework, I got a special announcement involving the FCC chairman position that I'm running for. So if you did your homework, thanks for reading that. I'm going to reiterate it and add some additional items that I'm going to update on the Mitch for Mayor website, but you will get first dibs at it here on my podcast. So the I'm a Voter voting platform, I reached out to some Pittsburgh colleges and universities, some other cities that I would like to go to or possibly live in. I reached out to universities and colleges there, and I also reached out to every Ivy League college or every Ivy League college, to their computer club, not to their staff or faculty. I haven't received any response. No interest from the computer science community in developing this platform. And I know I said on the last podcast that I was going to release a way to drop lower emissions in every major city in the world. I am still planning on doing that, but I'm going to make this the last episode of this season, of the I'm a Voter season, and I'm going to move on and make the podcast about this new strategy for lowering emissions, streamlining traffic, and the nonprofit I plan to found to develop that strategy. So, that being said, this is the last episode, so I'm not giving up on the I'm a Voter platform, just like I haven't given up on the Periscope platform. I'm just moving on to something that might take off better, since I try for several months to draw interest to these projects and I get no responses. I don't know what the problem is. I mean, you would think someone with a computer science degree would say, read my Femme Party novel, would listen to the podcast, would say, this guy's got a lot of great ideas for technology, I want to team up with him and develop some of his projects because I know he'll keep coming up with more and I have the technical know-how to do it. So that's what I'm looking for, partnerships, and I'll get into that in the next chapter of this podcast, the next season. So I want to talk about chairman of the FCC. I think I should be nominated chairman of the FCC. I published or at least a commissioner in the FCC. I published on my Mitch for Mayor website a special section called FCC, in which I lay out what I would do as chairman or commissioner of the FCC. So, one of the things I would do as chairman of the FCC is to develop a accreditation system for media companies, for news outlets. Every American has the right to fact-based news, and we should label the news sources by how much fact-based news they report. So we had a president that ran on fake news, and he was elected, and he just bullied and made more fake news. He didn't have a comprehensive plan as to how to reduce the fake news and get back to fact-based news reporting. I have a plan. It's an accreditation system through the FCC, and any United States citizen age 18 or older can vote in this accreditation system. So basically, we have a platform where people can vote. Independent watchdog companies, not government watchdog companies, although they could get involved a little bit, but we have to be careful in that we're not censoring the media via the government. That's why independent watchdog company or independent watchdog groups are going to be encouraged to use this platform, and they can break down every segment of television news. The platform will allow them to pull clips from news sources, from news companies, and they will be able to present their arguments to the public. So they will present, say, CNN says that the moon is about to explode, and the watchdog company can then take that segment that the CNN reported and say there's no factual basis for this argument. We have reports from NASA that say that the moon, it would be impossible for the moon to explode unless it was struck by an asteroid, and it's made of inert material. We've had tests that we sent to the moon and probes that can prove that the moon will not explode in any time soon. So that's presented to the public to vote. It'll be made into a 20-minute, half-hour little presentation. People can access, and again, the platform I believe will be called just Gov. It'll be an app, and people can access these arguments and vote on whether CNN should be fined for not reporting on the facts. So for this instance, they would be fined, and if there's a better than 50% of the population votes in favor of fining them, they will be that media company conglomerate will be fined. The fines will be used to establish grounded, wired, not wireless, wired internet for communities in the United States. That's what the fines will be used for, to build local government facilitated ground-based internet and cable services. The Gov platform will also show all government coverage for your district, for your voting district. So if your local government covers their meetings via video or audio, you'll be able to access that using the Gov platform. It'll be provided, it's a free streaming service to every citizen in the United States. Every citizen should be able to keep tabs on the government. So your local government will be on there, your county government will be on there if it's covered, and the state government channel will be on there, and the federal government channels will all be able to be accessed streaming, that you can watch the Gov channel. This will be provided free to every American, and it should have been provided free at the start of streaming services. So the FCC will establish the Gov platform. It'll be a streaming service and an interactive platform where people can take time out of their day to vote on whether media companies are reporting false news, and vote on whether they should receive a fine. They may even be able to vote on what the size of the fine should be. The news companies, the accreditation system will come into play where the news companies, after they've received so many fines or so many violations of reporting false news, will no longer be able to contain. There'll be a tiered system, and will show which companies have the most fact-based news reporting down a couple tiers, and then if you're at the lowest tiers, you can no longer carry the moniker news in your name. So if you're, say, Fox News and you don't report the facts, the idea that you can keep news in your name will be taken from you. You can no longer carry that name. You can be called Fox Opinion, Fox Television, but you cannot be called Fox News any longer. That'll be stripped from you so that we have clear labeling for the citizens of the United States to know what is a news source, a fact-based news source, and what is simply opinion. We're not going to take away the right for anyone to broadcast. They can still broadcast their opinions if they have the money to do so, but they can no longer call themselves a news agency. So that's what I published on the website, on the Mitch for Mayor website. My newest addition to Chairman of the FCC or Commissioner of FCC is to also put out a regulation on Wi-Fi routers, on wireless fidelity routers. All Wi-Fi routers, all manufactured Wi-Fi routers that are sold in the United States must carry a feature. So they broadcast, they transmit, and they receive wireless signal that's required by the FCC. They will also be required to scan all known wireless frequencies and have an easily accessible running account that can be downloaded to a computer. It doesn't have to be connected to the internet, but that feature will be available. Your computer can archive and track how much wireless signal is being transmitted through your house. So it scans all frequencies, and it shows, you can say, I want to archive 7 days, 30 days, a year, however much room your computer has, or it can be connected to the Gov platform, where it's just stored on through the platform. It's just a bar graph or a graph that tracks how much wireless energy is being transmitted through your house. It'll show AM, FM frequencies, mobile telephone frequencies, broadcast television frequencies, neighbors' Wi-Fi frequencies, all the frequencies, and categorize them and show them how much intensity of megahertz of power are being broadcast through your house at any time. So it tracks throughout the day. Shows peak times, and you can access this through your router software and link it up with your computer so that it'll track it on there. You can link it up with the Gov platform so that we can track it on the internet and store it for informational purposes. So every American has the right to know how much wireless energy is transmitted through their home. Now, I know I've argued that wireless energy may cause some mental illness, and I know it's an uphill battle to get people on board with that. They love the convenience of wireless communication. Some of them are addicted to wireless communication, and I know it's an uphill battle, but wouldn't you at least like to know? Don't you think you should have the right to know how much wireless energy of these invisible waves are being transmitted through your home? Don't you at least think everyone should have the right to know how much these companies are blasting through your house, through your body, through your brain every day in the name of the internet and the big tech giants? So I think everyone should have the right to know that. I think it should be a government regulation that Wi-Fi routers offer this. And so even if you don't want to admit that it causes mental illness, and even if you don't want to establish certain cities that don't have wireless energy, you can still, here's an argument for you. If we can show how much wireless energy is in each individual house from these big corporations, we can then lobby the corporations or file suit against the corporations. A city could file suit against the media conglomerates and say, you transmit this much amount of energy through my house, so I want all professional sports games broadcast free in HD through the city, right? Why is it that your reality shows and your network television and all these shows in syndication, that you have 60 channels in a major U.S. city broadcasting all these old movies and syndicated shows so that you can pull in some advertising dollars from those free airwaves that you broadcast? Those are good enough to blast through our house, but the things we actually want, like the professional sports games, you keep those for your premium cable package channels and make people pay a premium for those. So we're not going to put up with this anymore. We, the people of Pittsburgh, want all professional sports games broadcast through the airwaves for free, HD. So that's the power that we can have if we can all agree that wireless energy may be detrimental in some regards, that these companies don't have the right to broadcast through our homes without our permission, and they never sent out a mailer or any type of permission slip that every one of us filled out. We never granted them permission. Just the FCC, the government, who is not a real democracy, regulated it and said it's fine to do. But we never actually granted permission. They never actually got our written signatures to say, yep, you can broadcast that through our house. High intensities of wireless waves, it's fine. We think it'll be fine. It doesn't cause cancer or mental illness that we know of, because we did 25 studies on mice and rats. So it's good to go. Go ahead. It's so convenient. It's nice. Give us the things we want, at least, like professional sports games broadcast for free. So that's the power of this thought process, and I hope it brings some of you around to getting on board with this type of situation. But I'm a little over on time. Got a little over on time for the final episode of Season 4 of the Black Hole Podcast. Thanks for joining me. I'd like to thank my sponsors, Krabby Kelly's. If you're in Utica, Pennsylvania, get all your STDs at Krabby Kelly's. That's snacks, tobacco, and drinks. Looking for family camping at its best? Go to French Creek Farms in Utica, Pennsylvania. If you find yourself in Incheon, South Korea, stop by Liquor Burger and have a beer. Tell them Mitch sent you. Need a logo or design embroidered on a garment of clothing? Contact Neon Grouse at neongrouse.com. Tell them Mitch referred you. Or work directly through me. 30% of all of my commissions go to subsidizing clothing for people with disabilities. Also, please like and subscribe to Disability TV It's the fledgling media company for disabled people, by disabled people. Thanks for listening and watching. Join me next time when I talk about a nonprofit platform strategy for streamlining traffic in every major United States city, thereby reducing emissions, which is important as people go back to work in the office. Thanks for joining me, and join me next time. Take care.